Welcome to the 15th bonus video in the 20 years of MCF celebration. I'm MCFPapa. In this video I'll be reviewing Unearthed, the fourth and final novel in the Blackpool Mysteries series published by Harlequin, publishers of fine literature such as Falling for the GP Next Door, part of their medical romance subgenre, The Amish Spinster's Dilemma, I bet you can guess what that is, and Her Baby, Her Badge, which has an amazing Photoshop job to make the woman on the cover look pregnant. The other Blackpool Mysteries books were a few months apart from each other, but this one takes place just a few days after the events of Submerge. The MCF agency gets mentioned once in this, when Molly thinks about how she loves the thrill of investigations just like her uncle. Though I'm surprised there wasn't something where at the end Michael and Molly decided to join MCF themselves, but I guess they're happy in their lives, which hopefully can go back to normal because all the mysteries around Blackpool have been solved. The other three books introduced a ton of new characters, but here there are far fewer. I guess because this book is really trying to wrap a lot of elements up. Also, while Submerged was more focused on Molly, Unearthed is more focused on Michael, so the two books kind of balance the overall number of protagonist appearances. There were still at least a few more real-world references I found funny in this. At one point, the characters talk about drinking some Gale's Prize Old Ale, and they go on and on about how good the beer is, to the point I thought it was some product placement in this. Also, when discussing YouTube, DCI Paddington dismisses them as music videos and homegrown film clips with nothing informative. Back in 2011, that was more of an accurate description, but it's funny to think how different YouTube has become, both for better and for worse. This time around, Michael's friend Rohan is in a coma for a lot of the book, and the murder victim is someone who was killed by a sniper, really putting the bang in the murder mystery this time. He was working with Rohan to break into Alistair Crow's house to find info about stolen artifacts from people in West Africa who were taken as slaves. Charles Crow didn't just steal a fortune from the gypsies. In this book it's revealed he's also the one who was running the pirate slave ships out of Blackpool, like the sea clips we found in Submerged, taking what valuables he could from them, forcing them to dig out massive tunnels to hide his treasure, and then heartlessly selling them into bondage for life. In other words, Charles Crow was a real jerk. There isn't really any new treasure to speak of this time around. Instead, the book's dedicated to finally discovering where Charles hid his treasure. There isn't any boring grant money or construction permission plot lines discussed here. It's a lot more action-packed, and I found Unearthed to be the most captivating of the series. At one point, Michael and Molly are in Charles Crow's tunnels trying to navigate them while dodging his ancient booby traps he set up to protect the treasure, and they're figuring out where to go based on symbols he left behind. I love this section because it gave me some huge Uncharted vibes to it, especially the chapter from Uncharted 4, Avery's Descent. But that's crazy, because Uncharted 4 came out 5 years after this, and I guarantee with 100% certainty Naughty Dog wouldn't have gotten inspiration from a random book like this. I guess it's just great minds think alike. The funniest thing in the book is the dedication that reads, "Special thanks and acknowledgement to Mel Odom for his contribution to this work." But Mel Odom is the author writing that dedication, It's the Obama giving himself a medal meme. I guess Mel wanted to make sure his real name was credited in one of the books, but if he really wanted to have credit, why use the pen name Jordan Gray? Why not just write as Mel Odom? I would have liked to see Rohan have more of a role in this story, but at the very least I love meeting his grandmother, Nanny Miri. She's old, but she's a fun-loving adventurer and is a nice addition to the series. Overall, I don't have really any other major complaints with it. I'd say it's the best out of the 4-book series. And I would recommend you check out all the Blackpool Mysteries books if you can get your hands on them. They aren't really much of a tie-in to MCF. In fact, Mel Odom himself doesn't seem to really know much of anything about the series. In an article he wrote for Harlequin as a promo for the books, he said his first experience with the games was seeing a mausoleum in the middle of a swamp, and he says he saw it when his wife was playing Ravenhurst. But for the life of me, I can't really think of any place in Ravenhurst or Return to Ravenhurst which could even fit his description. There is something like that in 13th Skull, but that game didn't come out until after he wrote the article, so I don't know what's up with that. Besides that, though, the books are still fun enough mystery novels in their own right, and I enjoyed reading each of them. Reading for fun, it's a rare thing, but I did enjoy it this time at least. And now when I picture Blackpool, I'll think of the Grahams and DCI Paddington and other characters like that. Will the characters ever reappear in the games? Probably not. I'd say it's more likely we get live actors returning to the series than we see any reference to the Blackpool Mysteries books again. But at the very least, the books are a decent enough part of the larger MCF universe, albeit a pretty small one. So I'm happy that we got them. So that's it for my book review career. I don't think I'll really be reviewing any more in my lifetime, at least not in video format on this channel. Like and subscribe if you want, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next bonus video.